What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the NFC West Roundtable. This is your Week 5 preview show. We were all just backstage laughing, trying to figure out how the Seattle Seahawks won't allow a quarterback to go 100% completion this week. We shall figure that out. Let's go ahead. We're going to get right into these games, but right before we do, we need you to know that there's a huge opportunity for all of our viewers. BetUS is offering a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit using code YouTube150, ladies and gentlemen. All right, take advantage of that opportunity if you're looking for a new sports book. YouTube150. And check this out. If you take advantage of that, your two deposits after that will be at 125%. I always want to remind you, if you have a problem with gambling and you can't do it responsibly, make sure you go onto the site because there are resources that can help you. We want to make sure that the people that are taking care of this opportunity are those who can gamble responsibly. All right. And listen, the odds are up, but I want you to know that BetUS is not just a sports book, ladies and gentlemen. It also has the live betting, the casino, the race book promotion, and even BetUS TV. All of your shows, the NFL show, NCAA show, MLB, UCF, even the huddle Monday through Friday with the founders of Roundtable Sports, Richie Mallura, Dan Mitchell, and Tony Dow, myself. We have a show Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure you check it out. It's a lot of fun. We cover all teams around the NFL. BetUS, if you're looking for a new sports book or entertainment for sports, they are your place to be. Let's get right into it. We are not going to waste any time. I'm glad to have Brandon, Jesse, AZ Sports Fan, and Jake in the building. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the Rams, ladies and gentlemen. This week, they are home. They are playing an opponent who is starting to warm up. They get their starting quarterback back in Jordan Love. The Green Bay Packers looking to get some wins on the board. Will the Rams let them? Let's start with Jesse. What do you think is going to happen in this game and your quick score prediction?
Yeah, the Rams haven't given me any reason to pick them this week. And maybe that's a good omen because I feel like every time I've been wrong on what the Rams have done. So me picking against them, Rams fans, should make you feel really, really good. But the Green Bay Packers lost last week. They're also searching for a win. Right now, they just have a more complete, healthy team. And I think that they'll probably go into SoFi and get the job done. I don't know how the Rams are going to stop Green Bay from scoring. That's my biggest issue right now. And I think Green Bay can put up points on anybody. They even did it against Minnesota, who is stopping everybody right now. So with that being said, I'm going to go 30-23 Green Bay to win on the road.
Man, oh man, no love. Brandon, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I think that this is a tough game for the Rams because you got the Packers coming in. They're going to be hungry to get the dub. They're down Christian Wilkins, so the receiving core is a little bit light for the Packers, which gives you a little bit of opening because that Rams secondary is so lean. You go, boy, they're just going to be able to attack all day over there. The other thing with this is that when you got Love, he's shown himself to be a quarterback that's very proficient as the first read kind of guy. He wants to go see that first read, get the ball out of his hands to that first read. And so do the Rams have the ability to force him off of that by the designs of their defense or the personnel of their defense? Not really. I mean, if you think that the 49ers getting that interception in the game, in the conference championship game last year, it's him rolling out of the pocket, trying to get improvising. And so you've got to force him into that. I just don't think the Rams have the means to be able to get that done. And I think the Packer defense is going to allow Stafford a little bit more time than he had last week in the pocket to be able to get a little bit more done. He's going to probably throw for well over 300 yards in this one. But I just don't think they have enough answers to stop that Packer offense when it's all said and done. So I would go 27-21 Packers in this one.
Man, Jake. All right, AZ Sports Fan, what do you have on it?
Don't mean to shadow the two gentlemen on the top, but I do agree as well. I feel like, this is a game that the Rams do need to win as well, right? Because they're sitting at 1-3, so they don't want to be 1-4. But I don't know, just the schedule, the way it all laid out. I think Jordan Love coming back. Obviously, I don't think he was fully healthy versus the Vikings, but you definitely seen some flashes of Jordan Love, and I think he's just going to go ahead and, just translate that here into week 5 versus the Rams. And I do have the Green Bay Packers winning in SoFi Stadium. And it might be the dagger to the Rams' heart, but I'm going to go ahead and say 28-17 Green Bay Packers.
No love for the Rams, Jake. Your peers don't see it. What about you?
I see it. I think this is a team that is desperate. I think it's why they beat the 49ers. Everything had to go their way, and it did. They went for a fake punt, what have you. This game is two teams that basically they have no issue getting into the red zone, but they struggle once they get there. However, it's both teams also struggle keeping teams out of the red zone. So I think this is a game where even if the Rams can't stop the Packers, I don't think the Packers are going to be able to stop the Rams. I think it is going to come down to the fact that the Rams are at SoFi Stadium. They're at home. Not just, obviously the fans. I've been there when the Packers are there. Their fans are going to be represented. It'll be 70-30 Packers fans. But what I'm expecting is that they get to stay in LA. They get to sleep in their own bed, no traveling, everything. I think they're going to be more ready for this game. It's 4:25 as opposed to playing at 1, which is like 10 their time, a.m., which was the first time they did that all season against the Bears. So I do expect them to be more ready for this game. They may get Darius Williams back. We'll see. But I do think the Rams win this game 24-23. I think it's going to be not very good for my blood pressure, but I do think they get away with the win.
Well, there you have it. Let's bounce forward, ladies and gentlemen, to the Seattle Seahawks at home versus the Giants. Let's start right back with you, Jake. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to win. When you look at the Giants, they're interesting because they have a receiver that is, it's like having Odell Beckham Jr. again, right? Just the way he's played. But as great as Malik Neighbors is, they have a good secondary. I really like what they have there. Devin Witherspoon's an absolute stud. I think they'll probably put him on Neighbors, try to shut him down. I just think the Giants can make it interesting. Daniel Jones had a randomly really good day. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't rule it out if he can just get it and they could just feed Neighbors and then you run the ball with Devin Singletary, who's underrated. But Seattle did a nice job I thought they did a nice job against the Lions rushing attack, better than people are giving them credit for. So I do think Seattle wins this game. I'm going to say by a score of 27-13.
All right. Some love for Seattle and a good margin. AZ sports fan, talk to us. What do you got in this one?
I think when you're just looking at this matchup, you're just looking at who's the better team just on paper in general, and the Seahawks are that team. I do like Malik Neighbors. Obviously, we have a very close attachment because of Marvin Harrison Jr., and then you got Malik Neighbors. But I like what he's done so far. Looks really good as a rookie wide receiver. But I think at the end of the day, when you're looking at the teams, I trust Geno more than I do Jones. So I got the Seattle Seahawks winning 24-10.
Nice 2.2 score. Jesse, what do you got on this one?
I think the obvious answer is Seattle, but I also will say this. Seattle cannot go into this game just expecting to beat the Giants in a way to where they sit out all those players and like, hey, it's the Giants. We'll just sit all the players out that could return this week, but we got a big matchup on Thursday. They're going to have to play some of those guys. You can't go in there without your whole front seven and expect to win because the Giants will run the ball. If you give Daniel Jones time, he can look competent. And if you look at the Giants, defensively, they can get after the quarterback a little bit. And we know that that's a struggle for the Seattle Seahawks is protecting their quarterback. So I don't think it's a slam dunk, especially if those guys just all sit out again and expecting for them to win, because the talent level eventually evens out. I think offensively they can put up points. And so I'm going to go with Seattle to win, but a lot of it is contingent on who plays and who doesn't. So I'm going to go Seattle 30-24. No, 30-21 to win the game.
Still a nice victory there. Brandon, what do you have on your team in the score prediction?
I think there was definitely a threat here that you'd have a bit of a letdown game, but considering that you did get a little bit embarrassed on national TV this past week, I think that does both give Mike McDonald, the coach, an impetus to really kind of tear into guys a bit here and make sure that they're ready to roll. I think also to Jesse's point on this, you're not going to have everybody sitting out this one. I don't know if all the guys are going to come back, but you don't need all the guys. A couple guys coming back would be just enough, and that'd be plenty in my opinion. It's also a much different tale, playing out there against the Lions in Ford Field versus having to come on the road and play in Seattle, one of the toughest environments to play in And Daniel Jones just hasn't, whether he's been in his house or our house, anytime he's really played, he's not looked comfortable against the Seahawks. I think that we come out inspired. I think we throw it all over them. There is also the thing with Neighbors where he had a bad concussion at the end of the game last week and looked pretty bad. So not even any guarantee that he's going to play at this point. So 30-13 Seahawks.
30-13. Very impressive win if that happens. Good luck to the Seattle Seahawks. Looks like they're on a roll and maybe going to maintain first place. All right. Well, we got a matchup this week within the division. We got the 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals. It is divisional war time. We're going to go back to Brandon and get his take on this. What do you think is going to happen in this one and your score prediction?
Well, this is man, this is a tough one. I want to give back to him on this one. But I can't. I'm gonna have to go back to the Niners. Look, the Niners got their guys back when they've got their enough of their guys assembled like that. Their Avengers assembled. You know, they're maybe missing a Hulk, but they still got a Captain America and a Thor in there. So it was enough to get it done. And you saw it last week with where they can really stamp down on you in that way. I think they've held the line while they're trying to wait for these guys to return the ranks. And Arizona's right now scuttling, I think, a little bit. They're dangerous. I mean, Mike, I don't want to say like when I say, Kyler is a set, finished kind of product, he is, but he's also a dangerous finished product in that he can still be a guy if that running game is working and the improvisation is working on that day. It's a long day at the office for any team that's facing him. And that could very well be the case for a Niner team here who, at times, I think, Jesse, you guys have had some issues at times with the mobile quarterbacks in trying to deal with them and working. All teams do to a degree, depending on the day. But the Niners right now know what's kind of at stake, and they know they've already lost a lot of the line here. I think all of our teams kind of have this feeling, Jake, your team does as well coming in, as you talked about, a sense of urgency early in the year. Can't lose any more ground here. It's a little bit like ours with it, where it's you go, well, maybe there'll be a letdown game here where they'll drop their guard. But considering already what's taken place leading into the season, I think the Cardinals are going to get the Niners' best punch. I think that they've got enough guys to really kind of take it well to them by a good 2 touchdowns. So, 20, probably like a 27-13-ish, 30-17 kind of game.
Tough. Jake, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with Brandon. The Cardinals are definitely going to give it their best. After getting blown out like that, it lights a fire under your ass. The 49ers are trying to make sure this doesn't happen again, because this would be deja vu. This happened to the Rams, and they can't have this happen again. The unfortunate thing for the Cardinals, this is in San Francisco, which I really don't like picking against the 49ers when they're at home. They're just a completely different animal. The fan base is rowdy and everything. That's a legit home field advantage. So I will say the Cardinals will give it their all. They might even cover. I think it's 7.5 or it's 8. They might even cover. It might be a close game, but I'm not going against the 49ers. I'll go 33-26. I'll say 49ers win. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals come out with a fire and then second half the 49ers make adjustments and they boat race Arizona. I would not be surprised at all, because I think the 49ers are getting back to where they need to be.
All right. Well, we're going to go to Jesse here. All right. 49ers at home. How do you feel about this one, and what is your score prediction?
Yeah, I think Arizona offensively can really make this interesting because Kyler Murray's a handful for anybody to deal with. And Brandon's right. The 49ers do struggle. For some reason, this has been a long-standing thing where they just can't contain and hold the edge, and these quarterbacks can kind of get loose. And also, we know that Arizona can run the ball if they stick to it. So offensively, I think that they can make things interesting, and I think it will probably be interesting for a half or so. Ultimately, I think the 49ers talent wins out. I don't see how the Arizona Cardinals stop the 49ers offense either. It's the same thing that I talk about every week with Arizona. It's like, I don't know where you're generating a pass rush. And if you don't generate a pass rush on Brock Purdy, that's it for you. And not only that, but you give up way too many rushing yards in Arizona, 146 yards per game. You think the 49ers aren't going to come out and test that? They're going to run the ball themselves. So I just think ultimately the 49ers talent wins out in the second half, and I'm going to go 34-20 San Francisco.
34-20 San Francisco, 14-point lead. The AZ Sports fan, do you agree with these guys, or do you see an upset coming?
Well, I mean, division, right? It's a division game any given Sunday. We all talk about that. Sure. We never know exactly what happens in these games. So I got to come out here and first start off by saying that I know that this Arizona Cardinal team is not going to go back to back with an absolute embarrassment loss. And if they do, we're talking about something completely different. So they're going to come out here, guns a-blazing. They're going to hopefully try to fight, for Jonathan Gannon. Kyler Murray's has a bad taste in them. Everybody's got a bad taste in them after this last loss to the Washington Commanders. I so want to pick the Cardinals. I really, really do. I just need, this is the state right now where I need to see it, right? I need to see it to believe it. So I got to give it over to the 49ers. I like that reference, the whole, Avengers Assemble, because you're right. They are getting a lot of the pieces back. So I think that's going to be the biggest knock in terms of the Cardinals, because I think offensively, when we're clicking, we're good. But the defense is where it really, really scares me, right? Either it's going to be, stopping the run or just pass rush consistently. We just do not have that. So to say we're going to stop, right, a 49ers team that's primed for a Super Bowl run, I can't convince myself to say that, especially because it's over there. It's not at our home. So I'm going to have to give it over to the 49ers. It pains me to say, but I'm going to say 28-21 49ers win.
28-21? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Can we get a James?
We know what
Conner
happened the last
telephone
time this
fight?
happened. Jesse's like, oh no. He's like, no, pick the Cardinals, please.
You know what's funny? Last week I went 3 for 4. I hope I go 3 for 4 again.
There you go.
Man, oh man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, time will tell. There you have it, the NFC West Roundtable Week 5 preview. Man, we can't wait to join you all back here next week on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. to go over the results of these games. Thank you so much, Brandon. Thank you so much, Jesse, AZ Sports Fan, and Jake. Thank you all for doing a great job. Make sure that you go subscribe to all 4 of these gentlemen. They have amazing platforms, all right? But before we get out of here, please remember that this stream was powered by BetUS, and they are still offering that 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit. Take advantage of it, ladies and gentlemen, and we shall see you soon. Roundtable Sports, we are out.
Go Cards.
Roundtable Sports Network brings you NFL divisional debate coverage on a weekly basis from your favorite content creators across YouTube, featuring the AFC East Roundtable live Monday and Wednesday evenings, the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST. The NFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST. The AFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST. The NFC East Roundtable live Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. Roundtable Sports. Real coverage from real fans.